Okay, it looks like you just switched over to me. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm aperturegrillz, and joining me is... Well, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, JB Cherry yet again another commentary for speedrun. Let's get this stuff going.
Yeah, so once I have the go-ahead, time to save some film. Yeah.
Save
Too
some
bad.
film.
Too bad you can't do that in a run that has deaths. So I won't be able to record my film. So yeah,
That's
this is Marathon Durandal, which is Marathon 2. This is the second in 3 FPS games that are exclusively for the Macintosh, made by Bungie, who you may have heard of.
Oh no, they're nobodies.
Yeah, I mean, they made like a shitty RTS after this, and then they pretty much, went out of existence.
Died
so,
out.
Yeah, I mean, no one really knows about them because all they made was Mac games. Anyway, so this is going to be on Total Carnage, the hardest difficulty. So, you know what? One thing I should do before
What should you do,
I
Aperture?
should turn up the music
Oh,
so that during
music.
the end screen you will hear music. Yeah, this game has no music during gameplay at all.
I feel cheated.
So get ready for that. I'm gonna get started in 3, 2, 1, go.
If you didn't know, this is an FPS game. I kid. Let's continue.
So right off the bat, I'm going to be doing some things differently than we do in the kindergarten category. I'm going out of my way here to get some extra ammo from this secret. Please get out of my way, drone.
Something that should be pointed out is the levels in Marathon in general are kind of non-linear-ish. Like, there is a set area that you have to go to, but how you can get to it, depending on your ammo, manifest, can greatly vary.
Yeah, so I just picked up the assault rifle. They give it to you in the first level in this game. This is the most versatile weapon in the game. It has an attached grenade launcher, so you're going to see me use both bullets and grenades extensively throughout the whole run to do all kinds of fun stuff.
You will believe a man can fly.
So this is the fastest way back to the beginning, which is how you have to leave. Almost all the time you leave levels through terminals, like that one. This game has a really complex and interesting story, and all of it's related to you through those terminals, and so I'm just going to blow right through them, and you'll never see any of it.
Obviously, the plot is not necessary.
In a moment, I'm going to... this is another secret area. I'm just going to try and clean it out quickly.
Fun fact, this secret has another secret in the secret.
Yes,
so
but I don't need...
of a secret.
There is a like weird Easter egg inside of that secret, which I'm not going to bother going to because it has no practical purpose. However, underneath the sewage there was the fusion pistol, which is a gun I really want for the level after this one. This is an exploration level. It's I think it's 6 batteries. Yeah, 6 batteries in the gun. I have to step here to oh, yeah. Yeah, normally you would
pistol 3 levels after this.
Yes, but I want it on... You get it on level 6 normally, but I want it for the 4th level, as you'll see. Okay, good. Sometimes this room can be really annoying because those green yetis will all be in the corridor that I have to go through, and so I have to either kite them out or kill them.
Listen, Kevin, I can't raise my volume. I literally have the microphone next to my mouth, and it's almost midnight. I have to be quiet. So... So, we should talk about the bane of our existence, extermination levels.
Yeah, so there's 3 levels in this game that require you to kill almost everything.
There's a caveat to that. So you can kill everything up to 8 enemies. As long as there's 8 or less enemies left in the level, you can complete it. 9, tough chance. 7, okay. There are some levels, particularly in the first game, which is exploration, which is going to, for Marathon 1 is looking at polygons, but for Marathon 2 and Infinity, which you'll see after this, which doesn't really have them, you have to touch the polygons and extermination. So that was kind of talking about way more than needed, but you know, something that should be pointed out for people if they ever want to run this. That is something that has to be pointed out.
So I'm definitely playing this a little more conservative than necessary. This level is kind of unique because we actually are going to flood this whole basement area that I'm in right now with lava in just a second. And so you would think that would just kill everything, but it's a little more complicated than that. So that's one of the first important safety saves that I take. The only way that you can save in this game is at those pattern buffers on the wall. I'll just save again for good measure.
And that's very relevant because, well, particularly in Marathon 1, there are certain stretches where you go multiple levels without saving.
So now we just broke something that's going to make the, yeah, that's going to do that. And there's actually a secret way that you can leave the basement that's a little faster, but you swim through so much lava that you almost die on this difficulty because you take double damage from all sources on this difficulty. And so just for the sake of safety, I'd rather do it this way. So normally we would have come out up there.
Wait, is it double damage from Bob's as well?
Yeah, literally everything.
Ugh.
So now I'm basically going to run through the upper half of this level to wake everything up. Now, something I should point out, you're hearing the enemies just like play their little activation noise over and over again. That's because the engine is overloaded. There is a fix for this in the source port that I'm playing, but to remain accurate to the original game, the correct behavior is that if there's more than 32 monsters woken up at once, then they just like... Oh god. Okay, this is bad. The Bobs may kill me. Let's hope not.
So Bobs have kind of a happy meter, and if the happiness meter goes down enough, you know, from killing them, they will attack you. And,
yeah, so
on this difficulty, that's not necessary.
Well, it's also really easy to have happen on this difficulty because basically they made the threshold smaller. But you can see, like, they're not even shooting at me now.
The Bobs are made of glass bones and paper skin.
So I'm probably almost done with the level as far as number of enemies killed here, but for safety's sake, I'm going to kill a few more, and then let's check. Nope, not done yet. So I have to go hunt. You have to go hunt some more enemies down.
Did you explain why we had to kill all the enemies down below?
Oh, right. So because of the thing that I mentioned about how the game can only wake up so many enemies at once, it turns out that enemies that are asleep. Also, this freaking cyborg
this is
shoots.
Very sketchy.
Oh gosh.
You're in Sketch City right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get more health. I may be done now, actually. Let's see.
Yeah, go for it.
Yep, I'm done.
Yep, boom.
So I do not have to kill all of the enemies because there were less than 8 left alive. So now we're gonna encounter troopers. This one you'll like barely see, but there's more on this level and many more throughout the rest of the game. They're an enemy that has the same weapon as the assault rifle that I've been using, and they're definitely the hardest enemy in the game to deal with on this difficulty. They, when you're far away from them, they shoot these grenades, and when you're close, they shoot their primary weapon, which is, well, it's technically not hit scan, but may as well be.
Yeah, everything in this game is a projectile.
Yeah, including bullets. They're just invisible and very fast. Right, so enemies that are asleep, even if they're under lava, don't take damage. So you can actually soft lock yourself on the previous level if you... Frickin' Bob shot me. You can soft lock yourself because there'll be all these enemies left alive under the lava that just haven't woken up, and so they don't take damage. I take the intended route on this level because it's a little easier. there's a secret back way, but I don't do it.
I think it should be pointed out, compared to Aperture, I usually don't run PC. I only do it for like co-op runs. But, you know, the route is generally the same, so...
Yeah, you have to complete all the same levels. It's just harder to complete on Total Carnage. And slower. See ya.
Let me see if I can move my mic a bit better so you can hear me better. I can only do but so much because it's...
That panel I just smashed is the goal of this level. And then I'm just going back to this terminal that you exit from.
Yeah, you would think it would be closing or opening or closing those doors, but no, just hit this panel. Yeah.
Now, one of the most effective ways to deal with enemies in this game is to put them in the air. So shooting them in the feet with grenades pretty much keeps them from doing anything at all until they land again. And that's part of why the assault rifle is such a useful and versatile weapon. So I need to pick up this chip here, and then I'm actually going to run through the level this way in the hopes of waking up all of these troopers, and then I want them ideally to aggro on each other, because I don't want to use a ton of ammo killing them all.
And there's a door on the other side that you can go through.
Yes, but they, oh, I never picked up a second pistol. Okay, so here we go. One of them's fighting the other ones. Yeah, there we go. So how infighting works in this game is, once enemies get past a certain health threshold, which I think is below 20% of their, original maximum. Oh, that also, makes you spawn, doesn't it?
which I called the happy meter earlier.
Yeah, so once they get below 20%, they basically just go berserk and will attack anything in sight, whether it's friend or foe. And that's very useful because they have infinite ammo and will just keep fighting whatever's around them until they die. So here, I'm taking this way safer than I normally would, and actually killing these enemies. Because I really hate this section.
I hate this level in general.
Yeah.
There's just a lot that can go wrong on this level, particularly the elevator, which is coming up. So there's an elevator that starts moving as soon as you put that chip in. And if you're real lucky, you can make the cycle to get into elevator as it's going, as it's almost about up. Because platforms are very interesting in this game. Some will absolutely crush you, but some will, as soon as your head like hits the roof, it'll immediately start going down. So you can kind of save time by getting in the lift and letting it.
Okay, hopefully this is alright. My health is kind of low here. My health is really low.
You should go for sick jump.
My health is very, very low. Nope.
That's not sick jump.
Okay, so I'm actually going to continue the, Wow, that took forever to load. I'm going to continue this save and go get more health, just to make it a little easier to get through the next level. Because, as you can see, I basically have to run by a lot of things, and how quickly they wake up and start shooting you is a bit random. And that time I did not get too lucky, so...
The level that he died on Nuke and Pave is actually possible to complete from scratch start, which I think is amazing.
Also, you can see that I'm just reading the terminal really quickly in front of those two troopers without them being able to wake up and hurt me.
Reading terminals quickly comes into play later on, particularly the last level.
Yeah, the very end of this game involves reading a terminal while under lava. Which normally they intended not to be possible, but it actually is. Just, you have to read it very quickly.
And not have a Macintosh keyboard.
One of the important things about being fast at this game is to be a speed reader. So, this level, level 9, involves breaking a bunch of circuit panels that drop doors, which lead to a terminal. And the terminal and the last panel are both, I'll see, more infighting going on.
Now, this level has a sick jump, but it's also one that if you mess up will waste a lot of time.
Yes.
I'm gonna let him concentrate though, because this is kind of a tricky section.
Yeah, this whole level... Oh my god, that never happens. Okay. Yeah, the intent there is for those two troopers to get knocked off. And not bother you at all. Okay, let's try not to die. Okay, need more health.
I think there's a shotgun on this level, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, though I think it's only in co-op. Well, there is definitely...
I think it's in single player.
There is one that's in single player, and there's also a shotgun that's only in co-op.
Okay. Wait, oh, by the way, if you do decide to be a sneaky devil and try to clip through... Oh, there's a thing that we're going to be talking about later. Clipping through the doors at the end of this level. The terminal wonderfully says, it's cool that you went through that door, but I'm still not letting you leave.
Yeah, so they knew that people might try and cheat this game and like edit the map to remove the doors or something, or somehow
Amazingly.
like. And it turns out that you can actually, without cheating,
Get through the door.
Okay, so now. Shh, for a second. Okay, I made it.
Text
Good.
fucking definition. So he was basically scraping the roof of the map because the roof of the map is surprisingly not too far farther up. Another trick. Oh, okay, you're not doing tricky jump here. Okay.
No, I don't, because I want health. So I just do it normally.
So what was I about to talk about?
I actually want more ammo too, so I'm gonna take this, even though it's kind of a detour.
I completely forgot what I was about to talk about. But yeah, there's an ammo cache up here.
It just takes a while to get to because the elevator is very slow.
Now, did we ever figure out what the conditions for completing this level were? It's just hitting that one switch.
Yeah, it's just hitting that one
right?
switch. Yep.
So there's a current thing we're trying to do, which is coming into play with the clipping thing that we're talking about later on to see what things we can and can't go through.
Yeah, so we discovered that you can like basically warp up cliffs.
Everything is a platform. The shelf that the terminal is on is a platform. Doors are platforms. Floors are platforms. Everything is a platform. And
Polygon.
platforms.
Polygon is the word that you're looking for.
The game treats it as platforms.
Well, sure.
Everything is a polygon, yes, because it is a 2.5D game. You are correct in that regard.
Oh, that okay, it's fine.
But you get why
This level or this room is really awkward because of the because of all of the spit that can float around and get in your way, and they all shoot homing shots on this difficulty. So
would this
can
be a good time
troll
to
you pretty hard.
continue
Yeah.
on the clipping thing? Okay, so we found out that if you're going a particular speed, which you can usually start with a grenade, any explosive weapon, so that is literally to the rocket launcher and the AR. If you're going fast enough and you're going at just that angle against the polygon, you can effectively wedge yourself under the polygon and go right through. I'm going to be doing it during Infinity. Aperture's going to be doing it later on, not too far from now in this run.
Cut it out.
But it massively cuts down on painful things. There's one level coming up that we usually deem the worst, one of the worst levels in the game, 6k feet under, which I found a very neat way of shortening it if you get the worst spawn. Something that should be mentioned, there are 8 spawns per map, mainly because, you know...
Yeah, this game actually supports up to 8-player co-op, because Yeah, Marathon 1 only had deathmatch, and
Marathon 2 and Infinity have
yeah, 2 and Infinity introduced co-op, and you can play up to 8-player co-op. So yeah, there's 8 spawns on each level, and generally they're just all packed together in the same room, but occasionally they're not, and on one level, 2 levels from now, they are very far apart, which can lead to a lot of random time save or loss.
And something that should be mentioned, because I know someone's going to attempt to do it, you cannot do the out-of-bounds stuff on the Xbox 360 edition of this game. If you didn't know, there is a 360 version of this game. And
minor time save there.
The physics are more kind of like Marathon 1 and Marathon 2 kind of mixed together. But I wanted to mention that because I have a feeling if anyone actually decides to want to run this, they might decide to run that version.
Yeah, the XBLA port of this game is a completely different game because they re-implemented the engine so that it could run at 60 FPS. This game is locked at 30. By the way, this is an exploration level, and that I had to run over there to where I turned around. That's the only polygon that you have to touch. And then this is also an exploration level. Have to touch right here. And then there's one more. But first, I'm going to go get health.
Oh yeah, there's only 2. I thought there were 3 for some reason.
So I'm going to stand here, which procs this guy to spawn, and same with this hunter. Hunters take double damage from the fusion pistol, much like cyborgs do. Any mechanized enemy takes double damage from the fusion pistol, so even though that weapon might seem kind of garbage, it's actually pretty efficient at killing... oh, dang it, I missed that. This is the wacky sewage level. And,
the cycles on this are very odd.
Yeah.
By the way, I should mention this to people.
Whew.
Oh, that was close. These games are free. Bungie released these games for free to play, free to download, free to play for both the Macintosh version. The Aleph One project uses the game files.
So they released first they released the source code, and eventually they also just released the game files as public domain stuff. So it's all free.
On a Bungie Day.
That sounds about right. Okay, so this part at the end of this level is pretty awkward. Because you're standing in liquid that's just above your head. So here I'm gonna try and get these guys to fall off this platform. Okay, killed that one. And now this room is pretty tense. I want to try and induce friendly fire.
Speaking of fan mods, if you want to hate yourself, play Eternal. Okay, so he's getting 3x health before he leaves this level because it is very important that he has some health going into the next section.
Yeah, the next level would normally be quite long if we played it the way you're supposed to.
About 2
but
minutes.
Instead we can... Well, it would be even more frustrating on TC.
It would be like 6 minutes on TC. It's 2 minutes on Kindergarten. But we are going to greatly limit the time we're on that level using out of bounds and some very careful grenade jumps.
Yep.
The next level is the level that usually decides whether or not a run is worth going after.
Okay, I'll go with this health. That's fine.
Usually I would reset if I... Oh, you got
the
best
cool.
spawn.
So I got the best spawn, which means that I can just go ahead and do this.
Right, and I'm going to be quiet.
There we go.
Oh.
Now this level I have to be very fast with the first part of after this little opening section.
You want me to be quiet?
Yeah, just for a second. Oh, come on. Get up there. Woo! Alright. Okay, we're safe. That can be pretty scary to get that jump. You have to clear out the ledge enough that you can get up onto it, but you really don't want to waste any more time than necessary because more troopers are just going to keep showing up and shooting at you. You're intended to wait for 3 or 2 more of these big, very, very slow doors. But by jumping up there, you can just short-circuit most of the level and only wait for the final one. This is, if I had a rocket launcher, I'd make somebody pay. It's called that because there's a rocket launcher over there, which I'm going to go get now. I've just been standing here because I wanted to avoid attracting unwanted attention.
Which is very important on this level because they do try to ambush you later on.
Alright.
In the kindergarten route, you have to count like 8 seconds and then jump.
Yeah, I normally do that on TC too, but I
You need it. It's a marathon run. It's a marathon run.
Oh, jeez.
Holy shit, your health is almost gone. I don't think you're gonna make it.
I can make it to this. Yeah, so there's this secret secret 3x recharger under the lava here. And I like to not have to go for it, but sometimes you have to. Also, this level becomes a bit of a doozy if you let stuff spawn. So you really just... It's like the faster you are, the easier most of this stuff is, because you just won't even see the enemies.
Normally there, if you're on Windows or Mac version, you have to save and do an intentional death.
Oh, right. Okay.
There's a heartbeat glitch in the original Macintosh version where if you go 16 levels without dying or reloading a save, the game just outright soft locks. There's sometimes the occasional chance...
Can you please get out of my way?
Oh my
no.
god, very unlucky. But yeah,
so, these levels have even floatier physics than the rest of the game. They're marked as low gravity, which is helpful, but it also means that if you leave the floor, then you kind of have no control of what happens. And it's a huge pain. Save here.
But what was I on about? Oh yeah, it's about the heartbeat glitch. The heartbeat glitch is currently for Alpha 1, hopefully going to be fixed in 1.3. But currently in the stable, we have to do an intentional death unless you're on the Linux version. Because compiling Alpha 1 from source is a pain in the fucking neck.
Well, doing it on Linux isn't so bad, but
listen,
that's
I'm having trouble compiling it on Fedora.
That's what I'm playing it on anyway, is Linux, because I'm able to build a more recent version.
That brings up the point. If you're gonna run this, run it on Linux, but more importantly, run it on Ubuntu, because Ubuntu seems to have the least amount of problems when it comes to compiling.
So maybe you want to talk a little bit about the structure of this level.
Okay, so yes, this is this level's name is very adequate. Begging for mercy makes me angry. So this is a donut. It's literally a donut. There are 8 rooms. I believe that 6 of the rooms.
Oh gosh.
Three
okay,
groups
I'm gonna have to. I'm not gonna survive this, am I?
3 groups of duplicated room. Actually, I think it's 5. The first room.
Okay, let's just do this again.
The first room, the third room, and the 5th room, and the 7th room are all completely different. So you have 2 sets of rooms that are similar to each other, which is 2 and 4, and 2 and 8, and 4 and 6. The objective for these rooms are you have to go in and hit a switch, and then you come out to the main part. You go into the inside part, you break a panel. You have to repeat 8 times. On kindergarten, this will last about between high 2 minutes to about low 5 minutes, depending on how unlucky you are.
Okay, let's try and do this right this time. Sometimes these enemies spawn in really slowly, which makes it harder to deal with. But
it also doesn't help that the gravity is low.
Yeah, gravity is still low here, so if you lose contact with the ground, then all kinds of dumb stuff happens. Okay, that's what I'm supposed to do in this room. That's the efficient way to clear it all out. But as you saw, if we don't quite have the, like, reloading the rocket launcher takes forever, and switching to it takes forever. So if you're just not managing that well, then it gets out of control in a jiffy.
Which I should point out, I completely forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, it's very late for me, so if I just, like, am in the middle of a thought and just completely stop, please don't get mad, because, like, it's late. There are some particular sections. He's coming into room 4 in a second, though, and there's a particular way that you have to handle going in it, because it's a room where the platform lowers. So you have to swim in engine coolant.
Yeah, it's not lava, it's coolant. Because it's on a spaceship. We're on a spaceship right now.
That was the thing. So the spaceship is not actually in space. It is crash landed on a planet.
It's crash landed on a moon. Yeah.
On moon.
That's...
Which moon? The moon. Okay. But yeah, there shouldn't be really too much. I thought it was on Loan, but okay. Loan is the planet.
No, it's on a moon of Loan.
But join us on Marathon Discord. Oh yeah, speaking of Marathon Discord, there's a speedrunning Discord for this, but I'm not gonna bother posting any links about it until near the end of the run, because I do want to focus on the content of the run before doing a spiel.
So you can see every time I walk to a new corner here that has 2 doors in it, more
enemies spawn.
2 more enforcers spawn in. Those enemies that have the flame guns are called enforcers. Their AI is particularly annoying. They tend to stay in one spot and just shoot, like, kind of try and shoot volleys at you when they can see you, and otherwise they'll just stay and camp a position. So usually they don't really hunt you the way that most enemies will.
Albert just asked a question related to this level, and I don't really understand how to answer it.
So here I'm actually I'm hitting a switch under the plasma.
Yes, this
and
is
to avoid getting my head under the plasma, which hurts more as much as possible, I try and hit it before I can see it, and I do mess that up sometimes. The way that I came up with to do it is pretty consistent, but still not 100%. So
now he's healing on that ×3 charger because
it's going to become deactivated after I do this. Yeah.
So
once again,
he can
2 enforcers.
×2 charging.
Also, there's various ambushes. You can see enemies keep popping up as I run around the center of the level. That's not random per se. Like there's certain polygons that you step on or you make noise on that trigger them to wake up and teleport in. But like it can feel pretty random because it's pretty incoherent the way that they're kind of tried to the way they tried to script ambushes, and it doesn't really work.
You mean just like how I think Marathon 1 had ambushes done a bit better.
Well, Marathon 1 never has enemies spawn in.
Yeah, they're already in the level.
They're already always already in the level. So here again, I'm gonna get ambushed, but I have a plan.
So, as of this point, he can only recharge using ×2 chargers?
Yeah, so what I'm doing right here, it's really important that I kill all these enemies, even though I could actually, I could have just shot this from down there and not made any of those enemies appear, but I do need access to this ×2 charger for later, and so that's why that's why I'm clearing it out.
Red is ×1, yellow is ×2, and purple is ×3. So when we mention ×1, ×2, ×3, that's what we're referring to.
Okay. Oh, wow, I completely forgot about doing number 6.
Yeah, you gotta do number 6, buddy boy. Also, this has what I call the big blue meanie, but that's not the name of the enemy, it's the mother of all hunters.
Yeah, so that blue hunter, which you will not see again in the run, even though there is there's 2 more in the game. but
Wait, where are
I
they?
never on the last level. I never have to look at them. Okay.
See,
Yeah,
you learn
because-
something new about this game every day.
Because we don't have to. So this is a clone of the last room you saw that looks just like this. So I'm doing the same thing. Also,
Wait,
the Mother of All Hunters has a ton of health, and so I just knock it into the plasma so it doesn't bother me, rather than actually killing it. Okay, so we're getting close to the end of this level. Next room is number 7 of 8.
number 7 has wonderful.
So you'll see a
swimming.
bunch of enemies spawn in and just immediately fall into the sewage or into the plasma and die, which is great fun. And then
Blue bar is
I'm
air,
actually
yes.
I'm actually gonna lose all of my weapons and ammo after this level, so I can just go to town with rockets, killing everything in sight.
So room number 8 is basically a copy of room number 2, and that would be something I need to mention as soon as you finish that room, because it's about what happens at the end. Okay, so as soon as he hits this button, he's going to come back into the center room, and he's going to destroy the last panel. It is impertinent that he is on the floor when he destroys the last panel, because that's the teleport out.
I don't think impertinent is the word that you mean.
Well, no, it's pertinent because it is something that has to be done. It is something that needs to be stressed, because if you're sitting on the window of the door of the panel, right? You have to be in the middle, in the inner ring. You know, you can't be in the outer ring and teleport out. You have to be in the inner ring.
Yeah, you have to be standing on the floor, basically. So
it would
this
be-
last bit, just before I leave this, is actually really dicey, and I might die, depending on... Like that! See, just sometimes more enemies come in.
Now, to be fair, you saved on 7.
Yeah. So
If you
it's
had to go-
pretty random whether more enemies filter into the room, and you can't really stay and try and kill them because there's a bunch of stuff shooting you in the back, and so you have to try and plow your way through, and it's hard.
By the way, I'm just asking the whoever the restreamer is if I need to set up my audio at all. Just please let me know before the end of this run.
Yeah,
I
because
am
he
the
is the next runner.
I am the next runner. So.
Okay, I made it through.
so-
I made it through. All right, so now we're
Now
on
we're in
to
the
the
big
big house. We have been captured.
shortest-
We lost all our
Shortest
stuff.
level in the game.
So we're in jail. We don't have any weapons.
Well, you have fist. Fist is weapon. You can shoot fist, but it won't go far.
So we're just waiting for
Oh.
these bobs to teleport in and kill all the 4 that are guarding us.
Show them the corner that you can kind of.
Oh,
make
yeah,
it look
if you,
kinda funny.
If you walk into this corner of the room, then it vibrates unpleasantly.
Do canisters show up in this game?
Yeah.
Or are they only in Infinity? I don't
Yeah, this
remember
game
seeing
introduced canisters. There, I use one on. There's a bunch of canisters we use in this game. What are you talking about?
Listen, my brain is complete mush right now. This is a very hectic week for me, and I'm amazed that I've been able to do a speedrunning marathon this week. Please get off my back. Oh look, a thing.
So this can be
Okay.
pretty random. You can actually run around and try and draw the enemy's fire so that the bobs can shoot the floor more effectively. But it's just not a good idea in a marathon setting.
Alright, Aperture, I'm gonna be not talking for a couple of minutes because I have to set up, so I'll be right back.
Okay. So now we're on to the second half of the game. We've lost all our equipment, so the pace of the game inevitably gets a lot slower. These levels on Total Carnage are very, very hard because I just have pistols, and the pistols don't do a lot of damage, as you can see. And they take forever to reload, and even once we have 2 of them, they're just not good at dealing with mid-game enemies, which they throw a bunch of at you, so you will see the frustration that I have to deal with. I'm gonna bring these guys out. Come on, boys. So I can hit this switch. Just save again. Yeah, you also are only given 1x health here, so now I have to raise some stairs that allow me to reach the second half of the level. On Kindergarten, we don't bother getting access to that 1x charger under the water, and we just deal with all of this with a minimum of health. But everything has way more health here and does way more damage, so we can't really afford to do that. So I have to clear out all of these. There's also more enemies. I should have mentioned that too. In the lower difficulties, it randomly removes some of the enemies from each map. On Total Carnage, all of the enemies that are placed on the map are actually present. So there's 4/3 as many enemies as on the lowest difficulty. So here I'm just kind of clearing these out. It doesn't really matter if I take some damage because I'm gonna have to recharge my health again anyway. One interesting thing about the fists in this game is that they do more or less damage depending on how fast you're moving. Melee does stunlock enemies. The problem is that you can't, like, when you're standing... Well, it stunlocks some enemies, but it's not consistent, and yeah, you do about 10 times as much damage per punch if you're running at full speed versus if you're standing still. So you really don't want to waste the time standing in front of an enemy and punching it to death with punches that are 1/10 as powerful as running punches. So here we'll get a second pistol, and then we'll get probably one of the rudest ambushes in the game. 2 troopers, and all I have to deal with them is my pistols. So I tend to run down here and kind of avoid them. There's the second one. Come on. Okay. And now this room really sucks. It's an uneven floor, and there's a platform that I have to ride under the water. So I managed to do it, and then I go stand in the corner to make something lower that I have to run through, and then I'm going to backtrack and let these enemies come out. You can see their shots home in on me. So this is the fastest way to kill stuff with your fists, is circle strafe around it and hit it with full strafe running punches. Those do a lot of damage. So now, hopefully I can just get through. Alright, we made it. Whew, that's always really scary. And we managed to skip those teleporting in spit. So we should be good here. Hitting these 2 switches at the end is the actual goal of the level. We're waking up an ancient computer. And now we're on to God Will Sort the Dead. That's the second extermination level of the game. And as you can see, our human friends, some of which are all over this level, and some of them have been replaced with exploding clones. It's always the same ones that are fake bobs, or simulacrums as they're called. So once you know which ones are which, you can pretty much just remember and deal with them. But sometimes you just shoot the good bobs anyway. And like you saw on level 4, which was a long time ago now. If you shoot too many good bobs, then they will all start attacking you. And since they have a bullet weapon, they can just completely wreck your shit very quickly. Also, the simulacrums on Kindergarten only take 1 pistol shot to kill, but in this difficulty they take 2 and sometimes 3, because guns do a semi-random amount of damage to kill. And so sometimes if you're, you know, about to have to reload and one of them needs 3 shots instead of the normal 2, you can get yourself in a bit of a trouble. Okay, so I'm gonna let myself die here because I accidentally killed too many good bobs and they started shooting me, and I really don't want that to happen because there's so many good bobs in this level. It's very difficult to complete if that's happened. Now this level does have a couple of normal enemies, mostly the ones in this room. So there's 1 trooper and 3 hunters here. So I want them to try and start infighting, or at least kind of hurt each other by keeping them in a group, so they're firing into each other. There we go. That was decent. Now we're going down to this one of the basements of the level. Bad reload timing there. So here I'm opening these 2 secret panels that have switches, and when you walk in here, all of these enemies spawn in, and if you drop the crushers on them with those secret switches, then you can just kill them without having to worry about them, which is great. There's 4 more, and then when I run down here,
Hello again.
Hello again.
I'm all ready to go.
Awesome.
Alright, so yeah, he's on where the twist flops.
No, this is
twist flops. Gobble sword the dead. Okay.
Okay, I should be done with this level now. I have some pretty precise routing of which enemies I kill, so that I don't have to go farther into the basement than I absolutely need to.
All these extermination levels are about the same.
We're good.
So. Okay, so this level has a trick that I found out during AGDQ, and I was so ecstatic when I found out about it. We are going to do a sick jump trademark. It's not actually trademarked, please don't think it is. But he's gonna pick up this assault rifle. He's gonna go zooming. Okay, so there are 2 switches you have to hit.
Not just yet.
I know, but we're gonna go. Just trust me, buddy. We're gonna go this way. Where he's going right now. He's gonna hit a button, and he's gonna come back. And at that ledge, they just picked up those ammo. He's gonna do a thing. He's gonna do a sick, amazing jump, and he's basically going to go flying off into another ledge to hit another switch. That switch usually hit first.
First, I have to deal with this shit, though.
Yeah, this shit is awful.
This spiral staircase above water section is very dicey.
I love the enemies flying.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. There's the reason why that's happening so aggressively is because there's some weird non-linear stuff that goes on in the engine with momentum. Like if you're shooting something that already has some momentum applied to it, then it like is vastly more effective. Which is why like sometimes you'll grenade something and then shoot it just a couple of times, and instead of like going a little bit out of its way, it'll just fly off into space massively, even on not low gravity levels. So
I think that's the same principle behind the out of bounds.
It kind of is, yes.
But
because
it's not as
okay, so here's that
for us as it is for them. But here's the sick jump.
Made it.
Fucking textbook. That trick alone is worth the price of admission for running this game. That fucking trick.
What a rush.
By the way, we're the two main active runners of this game. Well, I can't really say I'm as active as I usually am. But yeah. If there's anyone that would know these games as well as anyone else, it would be us two. He's picking up a rocket launcher. I think in the any percent kindergarten category, we don't use that anymore. Is that correct?
That depends on what you consider current. I still use it in the world record, but
not used in a run, but is currently being considered for a run.
Yeah, we have some kind of theoretical route improvements. They're fairly minor, but they would definitely save some time.
And also, in the Xbox version of this level, that particular area that he just jumped from, you have to do some insane fucking.
Oh yeah, it's physics. Way worse in the XBLA port. So once again, this is a level about hitting some switches, and yeah, it's called Kill Your Television. The levels in this game have some pretty interesting names. Okay, I hit it. Good.
Okay.
It's like kind of not that easy to hit that switch because only a little bit of it is visible above the liquid. So here I'm going to I'm making my way towards one of the switches.
I need to mention now because we're almost at it. We're about to do the legendary blue glass jump. That's right. Named after the person that did routing for these games before. I think both me and Aperture did. That'd be correct.
That's correct.
The one and only Blue Glass did routing for the original Marathon and Marathon 2. We think he did Infinity. He submitted Infinity to an SGDQ.
So here it is.
At one point. But here it is.
Fucking
textbook.
So I was actually practicing doing that with the assault rifle, which is possible and costs less health, but I ran out of grenades here, so I couldn't do that. We're on to the third and final extermination level of the game. It might seem really dicey that I have literally no health, but
that's intentional.
That's somewhat intentional because I just get shot by a bob and die. That's some quality friendly fire right there.
That's the most you can't get that quality friendly fire any other time. You only even never. Okay, so he's doing a different thing for the route. He's going up here and going into a ammo cache room. Oh no, he's going in here first. There's an ammo cache room, and there are some kind of like chutes that go down into it.
I do that later. I do this first because I want to use the invincibility to clear out this room that has 2x. So the idea is basically to just kind of make yourself a walking bomb, stand right in front of the hunters and kill them with the fusion pistols so that they explode, and
the exploding bobs are kind of awful as well. Which the human tank idea is really useful for the exploding bobs.
So now I'm going to do some very cheesy strats. Sorry for the cheesy strats, but
listen, unless it's Cheese Whiz, I can take cheesy strats. I'm not saying Cheese Whiz is bad, but I mean you wouldn't want Cheese Whiz all over your keyboard now, would you? That's the most non sequitur thing. I apologize. So non sequitur after completely ignored.
So this doesn't normally happen. This fight doesn't normally play out quite this way. Those hunters should have already appeared, and I should already have killed them. But because of the somewhat random nature of how this engine spawns in enemies when they should show up, they had a delayed spawn, and so
I can't believe we've gone this far without mentioning it. So yeah, in the levels there is the enemy placement is the only random thing in the game. Other than damage, but damage is not as bad. So like on lower difficulties, right? Kindergarten. This is relevant for Infinity, which is right after this. But it's also
I did mention while you were gone that it randomly removes some of the enemies on the lower difficulties. But on this difficulty,
well, that's what I get for not being here for 6 minutes.
On this difficulty, every single spawn is populated, so okay. So now we get to go to the other part of this. We don't actually have to go all the way to the bottom of the basement because I actually woke up some enemies already.
Yeah, player starting position is random too. Once again, keep in mind, my brain is smashed. I'm moving up this week. Like, there's a lot of things going against me, and I'm still persevering on this.
Oh, come on. I just love to shoot enemies with shots that are very, very slow. It's my favorite thing to do. But that's what I have ammo for, so that's what I'm doing.
Imagine a rocket launcher that goes like a meter a second. Not a meter a second, a centimeter a second. But I'm about to go on a train of thought that makes no fucking sense, so just ignore me.
Okay.
I'm glad I caught myself before I made an ass of myself.
I should be done with this level now. Pretty sure I am.
Oh, reminder for Obsidian Carnage to finish Durandal. Like he said he will, but keeps putting it off. And I know he's fucking watching, so you please finish this fucking game. Also, 2-tie finish Infinity.
Okay, we're done. Good.
Yeah, we're done. Yeah, woo.
On to another very unpleasant level. Beware of abandoned rental trucks.
Also known as the shopping level.
Yes. So first I have to go over here and trigger a switch, which I'm going to do with a shotgun blast. And then just ignore all these enemies. Nice, I got it. Don't kill me. Thank you.
And now we're going shopping. Listen, I'll finish Halo as soon as I fucking move out, okay?
So this is a secret.
Phoenix.
This is a secret area of the level that has a lot of weapons and ammo, and a 3x health canister.
Oh no, what have I done?
And now that we've picked that up, we're gonna go to the end of the level.
Okay, where he's at right now, if he shoots a gun, there will be a whole bunch of enemies that spawn in, so yeah, don't shoot a gun there.
Yep. There's a bunch of places here that you don't want to shoot weapons for that reason.
Also, there is a window on this particular part that he's at that he can fly out of if he's not careful and not be able to get back in.
So here's the one part of the game, basically, where I'm going to use the flamethrower.
Remember to be careful on the windows, though.
Yeah. The flamethrower is a very situational weapon in Marathon. Some enemies, like hunters, don't take any damage from it, so that limits its usefulness. I'm taking this a bit slow, sorry. It's just
That's fine
what I
if you
have to
take it
do
slow,
to...
as long as you can finish.
Well, the goal is to lose as little health on this section as possible, because I really want a lot of health to deal with the level after this. Because you don't get access to 3x health again for a while.
See, this is the flamethrower that you miss out with playing Marathon 1, even though Marathon 1's is pretty cool as well.
I mean, they work the same in Marathon 1 and 2.
I know.
It's actually a lot more useful in Marathon 1 because of the existence of ticks, or fleas. What are they called?
They're called, the ones that are on the floor.
The flying enemies. What's the official name of them? Fleas?
Those are fleas.
Wasps. That's what I'm thinking of. They're called wasps.
Okay, well they're wasps then. And then there's the lookers that you can use the flamethrower on too.
Yeah, so there's two enemies that they wisely removed from this game because they're absolutely awful. Okay, it sounds like there's some infighting going on up there, so that's lucky. Sometimes
infighting because the platform went up.
Sometimes these enemies don't wake up, and then you have to go up and basically put yourself in a very bad situation.
Oh, also, in case you didn't mention it during the big house, reminder to drink water or you'll die. That's good water.
Okay, hopefully...
okay. Something that should be mentioned with the elevators in this level, except for the first one, you can walk on that one and go up. This elevator here, you have to hit the button next to the elevator in order to go up.
Right, but monsters will just stand on it and trigger the elevator, so
yeah.
Oh my god.
That's
did it again! Come on, are you serious?
That's the very shitty thing about this level, and it's the reason why this is probably one of the worst sections. Now,
there's also some kind of bug where those invisible spit can get stuck in the wall of the elevator, which is why the elevator wasn't moving. I'm also, this is the one time I recharge my oxygen because I'm stuck waiting for this elevator to go back down anyway, and I do need a little bit of oxygen to be safe for the end of the game. Not much, just a little. Are you serious? How did you not die? Yeah, that's that random damage stuff that I was talking about earlier, is sometimes you'll shoot a number of grenades and bullets into an enemy that you're like, oh, it'll definitely die from this, and it just doesn't. Because you got low damage rolls, and it's just sitting there smugly killing you with like 2 health left.
Okay, so yeah, he's gonna take this part shooting the switches pretty carefully.
Yep. So now I'm on to the last chapter and the last 3 levels of the game.
I saw the word oxygen. We're pretty good on oxygen right now. Oh look, did you see that enemy that just popped into existence?
Yep. That's
this
normal.
Is the third to last level of the game, by the way. There's a lot of exploding bombs. There's a lot of wonderful claustrophobic areas right here.
The one other nice thing, by the way, about the flamethrower is that if you kill a simulacrum with the flamethrower, it doesn't explode. It just burns up. And so that's a way you can keep them from exploding if you're trying to get...
What the fuck? I didn't know about that. What the fuck?
Have you never watched me attempt this category?
Listen.
Maybe you always fall asleep by this part.
Yeah, I usually fall asleep by this part. And it's not because the run is boring, it's just because he streams, like, because he's on the west coast, I'm on the east coast. So, like, it's late o'clock when he's streaming. So, which is very, very fun to do co-op runs, and in fact, we've only done co-op for Marathon, like, in person once, and it was at, in the practice run at GDQ.
Get my new can of napalm here, because it's really, really useful to have the napalm out for this. And a simulacrum might show up in this room that I'm in right now, or it might not.
It depends on where, there's, like, particular, polygons that if you touch it.
It showed up.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It showed up late enough that I can just run out and it doesn't matter. Now, the ending of this level, which I'm about to enter, is really unreliable and hard. So I'm going to make that stuff spawn in. The Spit Cur, so the plot of this whole game is basically that we're trying to contact those Spit Cur, the the big floating blue and orange guys to help us defeat the four, who are the main alien antagonists.
Oh my god.
And so in the last
Rays.
in the last chapter of the game, we've successfully done so, and oh god, just gotta go for it. Okay, all right, we made it.
Now we're on Feel the Noise.
We made it to
Now
the second to the last level.
Now you get to see Out of Bounds. You've been talking about it, but now you get to see it.
Yeah, so first there's a couple things I have to do. I'm gonna shoot a grenade at that switch. I missed. Shoot a grenade at that switch. There we go. A hunter's gonna appear right here. That's fine, we just kill it. Kill these other enemies with shotguns, because this is the second to last level. We don't have a whole lot more to do, and we have lots of ammo. Hit this switch again to re-raise this. I'm gonna jump up there. What? Now that is the first time I have ever messed that up. Since I started doing this strat, I have never made that mistake. God damn it! Come on.
You can jump up with. Oh no, you can't with your health. Never mind.
No, I need to wait for it to come back down again. So, yeah, this level is frustrating because if you do it right, it's really quick. But there's a lot of ways that you can just kind of screw it up, and then it takes forever. And you're seeing some of those ways now. So, let's see. Let's do this instead. There we go. Alright. That worked. So the point of that was to go hit that switch. Now we're going to go back down. Take this save.
And now we're going to do a fun thing.
Yes. Fun things indeed.
Okay, so the platform that he has to go to is way up on the wall. If this is why I keep saying this is a fun time to get into this game, because what he's about to do
Whee! There you go.
price of fucking admission right there. Oh yeah, he had to touch a polygon outside of it.
Yeah, you have to go out that door and then back in order to actually have the level complete.
The game footage went off on my end. Don't bother, just keep going. So yeah, he's on the last level. All roads lead to Saul.
Yeah, this level mostly consists of jumping around with... Please let me through. Jumping around all over everywhere with the rocket launcher, which is great fun. Yes, I made it. That's the hardest one. And then just clear out this corridor.
There are some insane jumps in this. There's a pretty insane jump in this. That you can do. That you go flying across a lava pit, and there's a...
By the way, this level introduces the last type of enemy in the game, the Juggernaut, and you're not even really gonna see them because I'm always looking at looking away from them. But one is firing at me right now. There are enormous floating monsters that have tons and tons of health, and they shoot the Enforcer weapon bullet, and they also shoot homing flying grenades.
What was the full
missiles.
name for them?
Okay, so time is coming up when I teleport out after reading this terminal. Hopefully, unless I screw it up.
I think the enemy's names was...
It didn't work. Okay, well I have to play this level over again.
Okay, the enemy's name, the Juggernauts, I think was mentioned in game as the big floaty thing what kicks our asses.
Yes. Well, they are actually called that officially in some terminal that you read. So yeah, time would have been when I finished reading that terminal under the lava, but it didn't work. So we have to try again.
In order to read that terminal underwater, you have, or not underwater, under lava, you have to use tab and page down.
Yeah,
Because
you have to mash. This is the one time that this game really makes you mash.
It's the only game where using page down is required, which you can't do on a MacBook Pro keyboard. So
because there's no page down key.
If you play on Mac, use a USB keyboard. Okay.
Yeah, as a call out to that as well, there's a level in Marathon Infinity called Thing What Kicks. Okay, so this is familiar territory now.
Fingers crossed, everyone.
And time.
Ooh.
Okay, so that time it worked. You basically need to fit in getting through all the pages of the terminal between ticks of damage on the that you receive from the lava. Because basically you just get hurt periodically while you're under lava.
Every half second, right?
Yeah, it's like twice a second. So you have to be able to mash your way on hit action and then hit tab and page down a bunch in order to get through. So yeah, that's Marathon 2. Pretty lengthy, difficult run. The easiest difficulty category of this is about half as long. So that was, let's see, I got a 108. That's pretty good. That's better than any of the practice attempts that I did. My record is 104, which, given how many times I died and stuff, you can see that there's theoretically, there's a lot of time that could come off, but it's pretty hard to actually get all that to come together in a single run because of how random the AI behavior and everything is. So
now, through the miracle of live stream editing, every streamer will magically turn the screen to Marathon Infinity. I believe right now. Maybe it's done. I don't know.
No, not yet.
Okay, I'll just sit here silently, awkwardly.